Hi and welcome to the Beer Temple. I am Chris Quinn. We have another blind tasting. I got a lot of positive feedback from my pseudo humiliation from the barrel aged stout show that I did recently, right after the grand opening that I had. So it's early again, but I'm not a little worse for wear like I was after the grand opening show. So I figured, I've done black IPAs in the past, but there's so many of them out there, such a popular style right now. Why not do another blind tasting, see what's going on? Because people ask me all the time about black IPA, what's my favorite? And I was kind of thinking of what people had said to me about the stout tasting, is that kind of put your money where your mouth is. And I figured, why not do that? So what I'll do here is taste through some black IPA and then kind of taste and see if what I had originally thought were my favorites actually ended up being my favorites. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got a couple really interesting beers here. I brought two of the ones that I say are always my favorite, which is the Firestone Walker Wookie Jack and the Sublimely Self-Righteous from Stone. When people ask me what are my two favorites, I definitely say these two. This is kind of my introduction to black IPA, other than Alpha Claws, if you want to count that from Three Floyds. And then this is really one that just wowed me, was the first black IPA to wow me since the Sublimely Self-Righteous from Stone. I also brought a new one, another black rye IPA. Wookie Jack has some rye in it from Firestone Walker, and Grains from Boulevard is their new black IPA, which also has some rye. And then I've got a local guy, tiny little self-distributed Beguile from here in Chicago, has their Johnny Quest black IPA with Citra, Galaxy, Simcoe, and Cascade hops. So some pretty heavy-hitting hop varietals on their black IPA. And then finally, a brand new black IPA from Smutty Nose in New Hampshire, actually named in honor of who is credited with inventing the black IPA. I believe his name is Greg Noonan, so I think it's called Noonan Black IPA. The guy has passed away, the inventor of it. So I think we talked about that a little bit in the past black IPA show. So if you go onto Beer Download, shout out to Beer Download. Jeez, what is my site called? Oh, craftbeertemple.com. If you go there and you do a search for black IPA, it'll pop up all the references for black IPA. In fact, people who ask about, have you done a show on this or that? The best way to find a show is to go on the site and use the search tool and just look up IPA or barrel or coffee, and anytime I've talked about a beer like that, it'll show up. So that's the best way to do a search. So Margaret poured these out for me, so I'll taste through them. Now, black IPA, like so many other styles, there's variances within the style. I personally like to get a little bit of that black roastiness in a black IPA, as well as obviously IPA. So I don't want it just to be a slightly more bitter stout, and I don't want it to be an IPA that's just black in color. Because really what some people can do is just make an IPA, put a minuscule amount of dark malt in there, and just darken it in color only, not really in flavor. But then again, it still should be a somewhat light beer with just a hint of roast, and it really should play well together. It's kind of two opposite ends of the spectrum that somehow kind of mesh. To me, unlike the Dayman Coffee IPA. So let's just start. I'll start over here in A. You know, most of these are going to be somewhat black or dark with some tawny highlights here. I'm getting more of the grain here than the hop, but there is a good balance. I'm getting some nice bright citrus notes, definitely some tropical stuff going on here, some tangerine. If I take a big whiff, I get a little bit of the roast. And the roast is kind of like a coffee side of things, not really chocolatey. But yeah, the more I smell it, and I said it was more about the roast, now the more I smell it, it's definitely more about the IPA. Solid. IPA certainly more than black. At the end, I get a bit of like a ashy chocolate coming across, like or an ashy coffee. Big citrus flavor to it. It's good. Solid IPA, solid black IPA. Just because I know the hop varietals, I'm going to guess this is the Johnny Quest already right off the get-go. And it's solid. I'm going to give it a 90. It's nice. Has a nice lingering bitterness too. Moving on to B. Certainly now there is more roast in it. Let's see if I change my mind again and switch it over to hops. Much more of an earthy component too, vegetal, herbal. And a clean brown caramel malt. Not as much roast. Fuller mouthfeel, chocolatey, somewhat bitter. Actually quite a bit more bitter than the Johnny Quest and less hoppy. So this one really, the hops are playing a more of a bittering role than a aromatic role. Interesting. I don't think I had this beer before, so I'm guessing it's going to be one of these guys. It's got kind of like an acrid coffee bitterness too. I don't like that finishing bite to it. It's just not as clean as I wanted. I'm going to go 87 with this guy, but it's decent. Moving on to C. Again, all these are very similar in color. They're a deep, deep dark brown with kind of ruby caramel brown highlights at the edge. Now this is nice. I'm gonna guess this might be the Grain Storm. It's got a nice kind of peppery rye thing going on. Good herbal hop character. Really well put together. Good herbaceous, earthy hops, which I think play very nicely with the kind of peppery notes on the malt. A lot of wood, like a woody hop. Creamy mouthfeel. Very drinkable. A good amount of actual like a chocolate note too, like a bittersweet chocolate that plays well with the bittering hops, make it even seem a little bit more of a bitter chocolate. Very nice. I'm going to give this one a 91. I really like it. I like how it's put together. I like that I do get some hop and I do get some roast, and they play together very nicely. All right, this one seems to be the least carbonated, or has the worst head retention. Very similar color here as well. This one I'm getting much more of a caramel note to it. With some citrus, some orange, some like sweet orange, and like a candied orange, some roast. The hops are starting to come out at me a little bit more now. Yeah, like toffee. Hops are really exploding once you take a sip of it. A little bit spicy as well. It's nice. These are similar. Even more chocolate, a little bit smoother mouthfeel, a little bit more aggressive on the West Coast style hops, a little bit more citrus. I'm getting like an orange pith, like that white part of the orange peel on the inside of the peel. Really nice. I'm gonna go 90. 3 on this guy. I like it. I just like how it drinks. Yeah, that's nice. And last but not least, a little bit aromatically challenged. I'm surprised. Tastes a little muted. Maybe it's my palate's a little bit blown out. I'm getting some kind of bright notes to it. Not a ton of roast. Some chocolate, but not a lot. I mean, these are all very muted notes to it. Soft mouthfeel, somewhat silky, mild bitterness. Okay, I'm gonna go with this. They're kind of lined up. I wonder if Margaret by accident did it that way. Okay, maybe I'll go like this. Okay, this is what I'm gonna say they are. I've got a C now, and then I'll also put them in order of my favorites. I'm gonna go. I mean, this one's really good and hoppy. It's like an IPA that's dark in color. A little bit of roast to it. It's solid though. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So E was first. D was first. What is this one? Grainstorm. Already wrong. Now I said there was a component of rye that I was getting here, but I liked it so much that I said, well, I like Sublimely Self-Righteous, so I'm gonna go with that one. So there you go. There's the Grainstorm, my first. My second was Self-Righteous. There we are. Okay. My third was Wookiee. Okay. Interesting. Also, I might add the oldest one here. This beer is from 1214. So that's 3.5 months. 3.5 months old, which is still in code for this beer, but it's older than this. It's 2 months older, and I should have thought about that at the time. Interesting. I am now 0 for 3. Now, B, or this one was Johnny Quest. I did get that right. That citron note is just so apparent on there. And then that would be Noonan. Okay, so 2 for 5, not exactly great. So what did I say? I said, I can't remember now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there you go. Fresh Noonan. I would like to say Wookiee Jack holds up a little bit better when it's fresh. It just seemed muted. So yeah, there you go. Good up to Grainstorm though. I mean, that's really nice. And you know, me picking out stupid ass rye and one that I don't think has rye in it. The champion and still winner, Sublimely Self-Righteous. Really liked it. Hey, but how about the local guy doing really well with a big hoppy IPA? I'm pretty happy with what I've discovered here. The one thing I will say is I wish that the Wookiee Jack had been a little bit fresher. It's not really a fair fight necessarily, but you know, that's what's in the market right now, and that's what I'm tasting, and that's if you did this today right now at my store, what you would be tasting. None of these beers here are bad, but there you go, guys. The winner and my favorite black IPA, my first love, is the Sublimely Self-Righteous. But hey, Grainstorm Black Rye IPA kicking some major butt. And Johnny Quest from Big Isle Brewing here in Chicago. no slouch. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you liked it. Let me know what you thought of this and if there's any other blind tastings or any other shows in general that you're interested in doing or having me do. But until then, I got to open my store late because I got some great beer to sell so you can drink, and I don't have an ending to that one. Thanks, guys. Bye.